Magic happens in our lives every day. What we often forget is that we're the ones calling the shots, and the simple decision to stay on course and follow through is how we create it. All it takes is a little trust in yourself and the will to make it happen that will ultimately see you through. Welcome to Journeys Through Change, a podcast that inspires women to let go of the fear and say yes to possibility. I'm your host, Noelle Van, an author, creator, and empowerment coach who spent years in corporate America helping innovators and leaders ride the waves of change with ease and grace. I now work with women to step into change and unleash the power they have to create a life they love. Whether you're contemplating a change in your career, relationship, health, lifestyle, or anything in between, nothing's off the table. I'll be offering up simple insights to help you manage the ups and downs of change and sharing interviews with successful women who took a leap of faith to create the life they knew they were meant to live, sharing their wisdom, advice, and all the juicy lessons they learned along the way. So get cozy in your favorite comfy chair and let's get started. One of the first key tenets of becoming a change maker, or in other words, becoming someone who invites possibility into your life, is being able to make and keep a commitment to make it happen. Commitment is trust in yourself, plain and simple, and is one of the most important things you can do to strengthen your own resolve and start building the muscle you need to stick with the process of any change long enough to get to the other side and reap the benefits. Now, way too often we decide to make a change of one kind or another and find ourselves going back to the comfort of familiar patterns we're trying to break. Doesn't matter what it is, a lifestyle change, relationship shift, whatever it is, old habits die hard. Now, when we feel resistance to commitment, it's the first sign that fear is surfacing. And we immediately start to negotiate with ourselves to lessen the discomfort. It's just human nature. I have an example of this happening with me right now. I'm getting ready to start a program to eliminate sugar from my diet, which is a huge deal for me. It's pretty strict, but straightforward, and I've done similar stuff before. Can you tell this is obviously an ongoing problem? And I know that I need to kick it. But I also know that I can expect short-term discomfort of the detox that comes along with it. It's just part of the program and part of the deal. Now, I've already found myself going into negotiation mode. Do I really need to buy all the ingredients for this or that? Can't I just wing it on my own or step into it gradually? No, I'm actually all for doing what works best for you in certain situations. But when it comes to walking through your own path versus one that's laid out for you in order for you to make real change actually happen, you kind of need to pick the path that creates the new habits. In other words, you need to suck it up and surrender to the guidance, which I should know by now, but I also fall into that trap just like everyone else. Committing to the process is really committing to ourselves because commitment is trust, and we must be able to trust ourselves to follow through. If we can't do this, how are we going to ever achieve the success we want? We have to have our own back. You can't shy away from the real stuff because without going all in, you won't achieve anything. Resistance is the first sign of our fear of commitment. And the minute it starts to surface is when we need to check ourselves and realign with what we want to accomplish. Once we get back to what we ultimately want, we can readjust and get back in the game. So I want to go over a few things that can get in the way of us making and keeping our commitments. The first is fear of failure. The fear of not being able to achieve the goals we've set can hold you back from fully committing. Now, this fear of failure can lead to self-doubt and hesitation, two slippery slopes when it comes to follow through. Check yourself when the fear comes up and debunk the doubt. The best way to do this is by recommitting to the outcome. Revisit the outcome you want, and this will help you refocus and move forward. Next is lack of clarity. Unclear or vague goals can make it difficult for you to commit. When you don't have a clear understanding of what you want or how to get there, you will inevitably struggle to stay motivated. So be clear from the start what you want, what does it look like, and how do you want to feel once you get it. Now, the next is overwhelm. This is a biggie. Feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of the goal or the tasks required to achieve it can get in the way. So break down those goals into smaller, more manageable tasks, and it will make them feel much more achievable. Now, the next is lack of accountability. This can always creep in. Without setting up a way to make yourself accountable, you may find it a lot easier to give up. Having someone to hold you accountable or regularly tracking your progress can help you maintain a steady commitment. that's where the daybook comes in, because it can really help you see patterns and kind of take a look at how far you've come. The last is lack of motivation. This is huge. When you don't feel inspired or motivated by your goals, the challenge can feel overwhelming. And overwhelm can bring things to a screeching halt. That's when you need to go back to the ultimate outcome you want to achieve. Recommit to what you want and how you want to feel when you get it, and that will get you back on track. Now, in week 1 of the Changemaker series, we delve into commitment even further and how it shows up or doesn't show up in your life. And here are a few ways we explore how to strengthen your commitment. First, you need to reclaim your power by owning your experience. Take accountability for your actions and commit to creating different outcomes. This commitment you make is a promise to yourself that you are capable of creating the results you want in life. Next, make up your mind to look at the areas of your life that need to change and start taking the steps necessary to get there. You must put in the effort. All it takes is a few small shifts each day, and little by little change will happen. Now, self-care is the third one, and it's critical to staying committed to any goal. You must trust your own gut and support yourself at all times. There's a reason why mood and energy are the key areas we want to elevate by journaling and recognizing what works best for you, because when energy is high and your emotional state is balanced, you are exponentially more likely to stick with something until you've reached the desired outcome. The next is setting realistic expectations for yourself. This is one of the simplest ways to stay motivated and start creating sustainable change. For every goal you set, create a plan to get it done and make it super, super simple. The more complex it is, the less likely you will be to follow through. And we're trying to take those excuses away from getting off track. Also, to create any kind of meaningful change in your life, you must be honest with yourself. What do you really want? And what are you no longer going to settle for? And then really, how do you want to live moving forward? Being honest about what is true for you strengthens your connection with yourself and gives you the power and courage to create a new reality. Now, the last is to just trust yourself. When you commit to change, you need to know that you're going to follow through and take accountability in creating something new. This is your promise to yourself, to no one else, creating a life that is better for you. This teaches you to start honoring your needs and desires more, and by practicing this every time, soon you'll see that investing in yourself becomes second nature. Now, I want to leave you with this. One of the number one reasons we fail to commit is our fear of failure. But life is all about risk and failure is part of the human experience. The beauty of failing is that it always comes with a lesson, and although it may feel tough to accept, it inevitably catapults you to the next level. Magic happens in our lives every day. What we often forget is that we're the ones calling the shots, and the simple decision to stay on course and follow through is how we create it. All it takes is a little trust in yourself and the will to make it happen that will ultimately see you through. That's it for now. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Journeys Through Change podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or really wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow us and leave a review if you've enjoyed this episode. And share it with a friend or on social media to spread the good word, so more women like you can find us and join in on the fun. For more information on the podcast or Day by Day book, go to livedaybyday.com.